so I'm Michael, and I'm an extremely grateful member of Alateen. I've been going to Alateen, like she said, for 6 years now, and it's been a great experience. I've learned life lessons that I know I'll keep with me my entire life. It's just been great. I feel that when I come to Alateen, I leave a world of dysfunction, kind of. I mean, you guys know what that means. You get that. I feel that, I grew up with an alcoholic and I experienced dysfunction in daily life, and I go to Alateen and things make sense. And the analogy I have written down is a windshield wiper. It's a windshield wiper of dysfunction. And it's something that I really appreciate that. I really do. When I first came to Alateen, I heard the word dysfunctional. I was like 13. I didn't quite understand what it meant. It sounds wrong. So I first thought of like something really intense, like murders and beatings, and like a lot of different kind of abuses. And the technical dictionary definition of dysfunctionality is when something doesn't work properly the way it should. And none of those things is really how I would define dysfunctionality. For me, dysfunctionality was the feeling that I would get every day when I would come home from school on my way, walking or being ride, and I would think, I'd feel nauseous. And I would think, am I going to go home to a really amazing and bright, wonderful mother who I love and who's extremely loving, or be going home to a couch potato who's just seems to be glazed over and not really talk at all, and just someone who I don't even recognize. I lived with my mom for 6 years solely, just her, and I felt that horrible feeling, that nausea, dysfunctionality every single day. I didn't understand what was wrong with her. I didn't get what could possibly make someone who's so wonderful drink so much and act so strange. I didn't know what alcoholism was, and I don't think I knew what to do. I saw, TV and movies, I knew people get drunk, but I never thought that someone would, get drunk on purpose. Like, in my mind, being drunk would be something, like, I imagined it as something that could happen on accident. Like, oh no, I got drunk, I drank too much, oh god. Now I know it's pretty different, not like that. But I grew up in a drug town and a drug family, and I saw it a lot. With my mom, with my siblings, and, friends, and tons of people that would, teenagers would come over and hang out with my mom, and I see it all the time. I see people under the influence, and it didn't seem fun. It didn't seem like something I'd ever want to do. People would act stupid and hurt themselves, and it would be, something that just seemed like I would never want to do. I couldn't imagine people doing that on purpose and wanting to do that to themselves. I didn't understand it then, and I don't quite understand it now, really, to be honest. But something I know for sure in my life is that I won't ever have a drink after everything I've seen. Except for this one time, let me tell you. Okay, so my mom used to, alcoholics like to hide drinks. And she used to hide hers in Mountain Dew cans. And so I was 7 years old, and I see a Mountain Dew can, and I'm like, ah. And I pick it up, and I take the stick, and I just spit it all over the dresser in a mirror. It was awful and gross and terrible. And then so whenever I smell alcohol now, I kind of go back to that, and I can certainly say it won't be touching my lips again. Or Mountain Dew. I've been Mountain Dew sober for 16 years. My mom drank beer and wine and every kind of alcohol. It was her way of life. I don't remember a lot from my childhood. A lot's is shady and dark and backed out, but I do remember one of my earliest memories is seeing her, what I now know was her drunk, and asking her to be normal. Can you just be normal? Can you be regular? And of course she was gone, and it was really a sad thing. You just look back. I look back at it almost like watching a movie. Just a little kid, begging his mom to be regular and be sober. I wasn't social growing up at all. I was really, really introverted and didn't do anything. I saw my mom as like an idol. I just worshipped her, and she was my best friend, and she was who I told everything to and spent all my time with. And I didn't think that my mom was. I would never think that my mom was a drunk or something that stereotypically you see on TV, like the male that's angry and has facial hair that's unruly and like bloodshot eyes. And I mean, she was a brilliant woman who was beautiful, and she seemed just, and she was intelligent. She knew how to come off as just loving, and she was loving, but she was also had a very flawless ability to manipulate and lie to get alcohol and money and anything else she would need. And she was someone who I think suffered a lot. And my dad talks about how she was more of a kid at heart. She never really got a chance to live her teenage years and live a happy, normal childhood. So she had to act out and kind of acted immaturely as an adult, and she could be like 38 or 40 and she'd be acting like a teenager. And in some ways this was very fun for me, and some areas it was very nice to experience that and to have a friend, but at the same time I lost the responsibility that comes with being a parent, and being a parent that way. I think that I'm very happy that I got to spend the time that I did with my mom. Some of my best memories of my life are just me and her together on a couch and playing video games and watching movies and just really, really little things. Going on rides around town. We moved so many times, but we would go on car rides and listening to music and singing along the radio. And she always knew how to make me feel really important, and she always made me laugh. And I never was really sad around her when she was sober. I would have a bad day and I'd come home, and if she was so right, I could just talk about it and I'd feel great. And I like to think that I did the same for her. Everything bad in my life went away when my mom was around. And this was one of the reasons I attributed my mom to such a hero, such an idol. When you're a kid, you don't see people three-dimensionally. You don't see, someone as like a good person who can do bad things or a bad person who can be good. It's like Saturday morning cartoons. There's a bad guy and a good guy. I'm like, well, my mom isn't a bad person, so there can't be anything wrong with her. And I know now that my mom was an alcoholic, and she was definitely miserable and desperate and manipulative and hurt many people that she loved to alcohol. And I still believe she's a good person. A very, very sick person, but a good person. My parents separated when I was really young, about 8 years old, and I don't have a memory of my dad and my mom romantic or happy together necessarily. When they separated, I was excited a little bit. Actually, I didn't want to see them fight. I remember them fighting and trying to push them away from each other. I don't have many positive memories of them together. I enjoyed living with my mom more than my dad growing up. She had 11 cats, and it was like cat pee smell everywhere, and just like a whole bunch of like mess everywhere. And I could come home and it'd be nothing. She wasn't exactly a tidy, Snow White clean mother. But I loved being around her though. I mean, I absolutely loved being around her. So my dad had a very clean house and was very, it was very much more sanitary. But there's something about my mom that I really appreciated being around, and I just spent a lot of my time around her. And she, growing up, there was definitely times my dad encouraged me to look into Alateen and things. But my mom gave me this interpretation of what she said out on was when I'd ask, like, where did that go every Friday night? What's he doing with all these people? She's like, well, he goes to this basement with a whole bunch of bitter single people who just talk about how much they hate their exes or their spouses. I'm like, well, that sounds awful. Oh, I'm so sorry. And that's the perception I had about my mom growing up. So I had to kind of unravel that image, but I was able to. My mom went through many different boyfriends, and one that she had 2 babies with was, his name was Calvin, and with him I got my 2 step siblings. Phoebe and Sophia, who are very beautiful, and they're great, and just weren't really able to grow up with a mom. It was something that being around them and taking care of them and seeing her drunk, and I had to. You grow up fast when you grow up with alcoholism, and it's a very hard thing. But yeah, I know that they're beautiful, and I know there's a reason they were born. There's so much pain that they were born into. That was definitely very difficult. My mom's alcoholism progressed as it tends to do with this disease, and she went from being drunk at 10 at night to 7 at night to 5 to 3 to noon to she'd wake up and she'd get drunk, instantly. And it got less and less. I can remember, near the end, a sober moment with her. And so after a while, my dad filed for divorce. He'd gone through a lot of pain and much infidelity, and my mom taking his money and just manipulating, and he filed for divorce, and my mom got into trouble with the law and car accidents and went to jail, and she, absolutely hated it. And not that I've heard many stunning reviews on jail, but she, it was something that, I thought that was a moment for her that she could have, reached some clarity and maybe try to become sober or go to AA meetings, but, never got stuck. She never really acknowledged that she had a problem, I don't think. I was able to see a psychologist that really changed my life and suggested going to Alateen, and it kind of reinforced my dad telling me I trusted her, so I was able to see it as something. Because when my dad tells me, I just think, okay, whatever, and my mom told me all about what my dad was like. But if my psychologist told me, I was like, all right, I'll try this out, and that's when I went, and it was a really powerful thing. Like immediately, when my mom was getting sicker and sicker, and I was able to just kind of slightly detach, and it was just really powerful to detach from seeing her as like a godlike figure. Because and my mom, it got so bad that she, went from being the closest that I had to, and she got caught when she broke up with him and gone back, and broke up with him and gone back, and after a while I just couldn't do it. So I started with my dad full time, and she made me feel like, I was like going over to the side of the devil. She would maybe, I felt I was doing something very wrong, awful for leaving her, and made me feel evil. But near the end, she got very addicted to painkillers and got into a situation where she was not able to get them. And it was like I think a Sunday in January, and my dad goes to, he runs out and there's something wrong, and he comes back crying, and I knew something was definitely very bad, and it appeared that my mother had hung herself with a television cord in a motel room. And it's hard. It's something that it's hard to think about consciously, and it's something that I can go, I feel like I can go weeks at a time without ever thinking about it, and months at a time, but it's always in the back of my head, and it's always something that no matter what I do, or whatever event I'm in, or whatever, I get so far, and I have a lot more friends than I did when I was younger and didn't do anything, and I still feel like, in my daily life, it's in the back of my head sometimes. It's like that, I'm not like a lot of other kids. I'm not like a lot of other people that have dealt with that. But, and my siblings, my, trying to explain to Phoebe and Sophia where mom was, and having to see my older step-siblings, go through alcoholism and being addicted to marijuana and drugs. It's been hard. It's something that, my mom passed, but the disease lives on, through her children and through parts of me and just everything. Emotionally, the toll is there, and when someone who's in this disease dies, so does the hope that they'll ever get better. But that's where this program comes in. I used to think that the only way I could get over my mom leaving me was to either hate her and just wish, whatever, I don't care, I hope she's in hell, I don't, it's like whatever, she's awful, or to just, cry every night and wish she was back. And, as if, when alcoholic is alive, you need to detach with love. And that's something that this program has helped me to do. It's something that Pam, something to do. My Alateen sponsors, the many kids I've seen come and go throughout. I've been able to see just so much of my own story, so much, people, loving people that hurt themselves. It's been so powerful. And Alateen is a beautiful thing. I think I recommend to anybody, and definitely if you have alcoholism in your family, it's something that, kids, you need that to see that you're not alone. It's you do a lot of comparing when you're a teenager and when you're young, and you need to see that there's something wrong with who you are. This kind of pain is normal. And I'm just very grateful that I have Alateen. And I'm really grateful that I'm able to speak at these things and that you guys can listen to me. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Michael. That was awesome. Michael is going to be moving on to Al-Anon sometime in the next year. So I got him his first Al-Anon book, Hope for Today, to start that out. And I wanted to say what an honor and a privilege Michael's going to be sponsor. I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me and my family. So also, I forgot to announce that if there's anybody in this room that's thinking about bringing their children to Alateen, in the information booth back of the books, there are some Alateen and Al-Anon media lists. So, and here's your book. Hope you enjoy, and thank you again. Thank you, Michael. Let's all form a circle and close with the surrender prayer.